Coming up, a couple of Asian American lesbians talk about watching the movie Crazy Rich Asians. It's a wide-ranging and rambling discussion.
I'm Sienna.
And I'm Toast.
We're partners in love, life, and music, and we've been together since 2001.
With each episode of this podcast, our goal is to help our fellow LGBT community members lift their lives to the next level.
Hey!
What's up, everybody? This is
Hey,
Toast.
everyone. This is Sienna. Hope you're having a great day so far, whatever you're doing.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Okay, and
All right. So, boy. Okay, so I don't know if we mentioned, I think we mentioned that we batched the podcast.
yes,
Did we
in a
say
previous
that?
episode,
Yeah,
we
we did.
explained that usually when we record episodes, we record like maybe 3 at a time.
Yeah,
or
we
so.
do. We do.
Depends.
So
on
here
our
we are
schedule.
again, batching, and we haven't recorded in a while, but it's been like a little whirlwind because we have had guests galore.
Lots of visitors. We found that
Lots
after
of wonderful visitors.
Yeah, we found that after we moved to Portland, everybody wants to visit us all of a sudden. Very different from living in Torrance, California, apparently. Torrance is not like a prime desirable destination for people, but Portland is by comparison.
Poor Torrance.
Torrance-
Torrance is good.
Torrance is good, but I'm just
Torrance
saying,
is good.
You know, once we moved here, it's like, oh, all these visitors.
Because I think we gave them a reason for booking a trip to come visit.
Out of where they were.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So just saying that by the end of this year, we'll have visited or had visitors, 17 visitors.
What the heck?
Yes.
Amazing. Huh?
Seriously. I counted because I was just
Yep.
curious.
That's right.
So we have come off of a stretch of visitors, and it's been nice. And yeah, what's great is that they help us to create new experiences and go and see new places in Portland that are still on our list.
Mm-hmm.
So we are excited to share those places, those new places with you. Is that the doorbell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look, Bear's going to go check and see.
Bear's go check the
Bear's
door.
going to
Tell
get
us-
it. He just
go answer the
He
door.
just got up out of his bed and walked out of the room like he's going to go answer the
I
door.
think yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, we'll be right back.
Bear is our cat, by the way, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
And we have lots
He's
of pictures
so
of
good.
him on our Instagram.
He's so good. He checks the door. He does the dishes.
He said he
makes
said we
dinner.
don't need to worry about the door. He took care
All
of
right.
it.
Okay. So anyway, so we were just saying that we've had a lot of great visitors, and it's given us the excuse to do more Portland exploring. And so some of the places that we've gone to are the alpaca farm that we will share more of if you receive our newsletters or are following us on Instagram or Facebook. You will see a glimpse of our time there. And then also we recently went to the grotto, which was provided some Catholic healing for myself. But we'll talk about that too on another podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So right now, though, we would love to share some notes and reviews from the community.
Okay, this one is kind of long overdue. So we thank Maru Ye. Not sure how to pronounce the name.
Maru?
It says it's from. This is a review from Germany. So I thought that was kind of neat. So thank you. We got a 5-star
Yes.
rating, and the comment was,
Yay.
and still filled with humor, insightful life advice, and soothing voices of Sienna and Toast.
It's here. I think that's the beginning part. So the title is It's
Back.
Back 2018.
And still filled with. You get the idea. So thanks, Maru. Yay.
Yes. So thank you so much for the review. And please send us a message if you'd like a goodie from us sent to where you are.
All right. And now we're going to talk about what everybody seems to have been talking about for the past few weeks, which is Crazy Rich Asians, the movie.
Do you think everyone's talking about it?
Well,
Maybe just the Asians.
a lot of Asians. Well, and Hollywood people who are interested in
That's true.
You know,
They're saying the movie's doing really well.
representation and the movie industry and stuff like that. So this is the first Hollywood feature film with an all Asian leading cast, right?
Yes.
Since when? 1990 something?
I don't know.
Since Joy Luck Club, right? And Joy Luck Club was also based on a book, just like Crazy Rich Asians is based on a book.
But these two movies, I have to say, are in very different genre lanes.
Yes.
Very different. So, Joy Luck Club,
Drama all the way.
drama.
Intense.
You were completely moved. It was intense. It was like gut-wrenching. Crazy Rich Asians, on the other hand,
It's kind of like The Hangover.
it's like funny. Yeah. It was just light. It's, you're not looking for...
Well, and they they did have, it did mix up a lot of stuff. It did have, it was like a dramedy, right? It was a comedy, but they
wouldn't
definitely
go
had the
as far-
heartwarming.
yeah, but you can have the heartwarming
issues
with
addressed.
comedy.
Right, which
I
is what
wouldn't
this was.
necessarily say it had drama, though.
Okay.
I mean, it had drama
true.
in the
That's
way
true.
that, it's dramatic, like funny drama,
Okay.
right?
All right. So
But
let's
it's not
talk about
a drama.
It. Yeah. So let's talk about it.
We are.
One
We're
thing.
doing
Isn't that what we're doing? But I thought was interesting is that both of the films, Joy Luck Club and Crazy Rich Asians, were very women centric, right?
Yes.
These are stories told from the point of view of the feminine, from women's point of view.
But before we go into talking more about the movie, we just want to say if you are planning to see it, but you haven't yet seen it, that we might, we just want to say maybe don't listen to this podcast yet because there might be some spoilers in it. So you can just stop now and then come back and listen after you've seen it.
Or if you don't care, just listen.
Yeah, because I wouldn't care. I would still listen.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So go ahead. Tell me, Toast, what?
Okay, so first off, I didn't research it to the nines before going to see it. I just wanted to go see it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, you know
go
what?
ahead, Toast, she says.
Maybe. Why don't you tell them what it's about, though? For people who maybe aren't planning to see it. But
Well,
they just
should
want
see
to.
it
But they just want to listen
help
to the
out
podcast.
The representation of Asians in the media. Okay, what it's about. Can't they just go to like Fandango and see the synopsis? It's about.
But then they're going to stop the podcast to go.
It's about a Chinese American young woman, who accompanies her boyfriend, who is British, Chinese, something. Who accompanies her boyfriend, who is a best man, in a wedding that will be held in Singapore. And when she gets, as she goes on this trip, she quickly realizes that her boyfriend's family
Does not approve of her.
is crazy rich, basically.
Right. And doesn't approve of her.
The family doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it really is like a fish out of water story. It's like Romeo and Juliet, where the families,
The rich
feuding
and-
families
yes.
type of thing. Yeah. And people, I was aware that on social media, people were like having issues with the movie for whatever reason. Like it wasn't a perfect representation of Asians or something. But, my attitude towards that is, it's kind of like when you think of voting.
Yep.
Okay, so Hillary is not the perfect candidate.
But she's a
vote
step
for
in the
Hillary.
direction.
But she's
Yes.
she's
Yes.
better than the other alternative. So, and we don't live in a perfect world.
Right.
So just support the best option that is out there.
Yep.
And that's
Make it count.
And that's what will
Make
keep
it count.
us moving towards
Yes.
better, more equal representation. You know what I just realized is that some people might not realize that you and I are Asian American. because we don't have our pictures on like the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's
You
true.
know, so
Yeah, so we are.
So that's why that's why it matters to us. So.
Yeah. Okay. So
We're lesbian.
Do you hear an
and
owl?
We're Asian. An owl.
I hear an owl.
Like that.
Not you, an owl. Anyways, gosh, you guys, I don't know what's going on today. I really thought I heard an owl.
Wow, that's so weird.
Anyways, okay. My one ear, while we finish this podcast, one ear is going to be on owl alert because I really
Isn't
thought
that
I
the
heard
Harry
an owl.
Potter movie?
Owl alert? I don't. Anyways.
I would imagine there's
Oh,
an
boy.
owl in Harry Potter.
All right. Okay. Crazy Rich Asians. So everyone under the sun was telling me that, oh my God, this is the best movie.
Like, it's so good.
It's so good. Like everyone under the sun. And I think that really set the bar so high when I went to go see it that when I saw it, just in general, I was like, okay, that was okay. That was okay. Yeah, that was okay, that movie. But perhaps if I wasn't around a lot of people saying, oh my God, it's so great, I would have walked out of there going, wow, that was really good.
Like I did.
Like
That's
you
how I
did,
walked
'cause
out
you
of the
weren't around
movie.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I walked out being like, wow,
Toast
that
was
was
like,
really good. I
yes,
really
yes.
enjoyed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I think I was just expecting...
Were you
Something
Okay, here's a
else.
question. Were you expecting it to be more serious than it was? Or take more of a political stance on things?
You know what? I really can't say.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I don't know what it was.
Okay,
I just
all right.
know that, this big, beautiful, bright, golden, sparkly, amazing picture was painted.
Right.
And then when I showed up,
Expecting the huge sparkly picture.
yeah, like giant sunshine spark. Yeah, it was just, I just expected something. And then
So interesting.
I came
Okay.
in and it was like silver.
Okay.
Which was still nice. But it wasn't like, to that level.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Like, I really am happy we went to support the movie.
Me too. Yeah.
And even if I had heard it was crap, I would have wanted to go to support the efforts
Right.
of all the people getting this movie out there.
That's right.
Because the next level is, well, first of all, they are having a sequel. But what I'm hoping is that other directors and movie makers and people out there will create an Asian American movie. Mm-hmm. All the cast, Asian American.
That actually
Of
takes
just-
place in the United States instead of
Yes.
having to go to like Singapore and stuff
Exactly,
like that.
exactly.
Nothing against Singapore.
Nothing
and
at all.
And that was a great story that they told.
Yes.
But okay, and so that what you're talking about brings up the issue of, well, representation and seeing yourself on screen. But the term Asian American, like that's such a broad, or Asian itself, that's such a broad category, right?
It really
includes
is.
everybody
Yeah.
from Japanese through Indian, through Cambodian or Arabian, whatever. I mean, it's a huge, broad swath, and there are so many varied life experiences within that swath of people. And what it sounds like what you're talking about is, hey, what about people like you and I who are fourth generation Asian Americans? We grew up speaking only English, So, and that's something that I recognized in my reaction as watching this movie, because everybody in this movie is bilingual.
Yeah.
Everybody. And so I'm watching it and I'm feeling like, wow, I am not Asian enough because I'm monolingual. I speak, well, I guess bilingual if you count Pidgin English. Brah.
Maybe.
Yeah, dakain larat. And then at the same time, feeling not American enough because I'm not white.
That is the
Right?
thing. That is the thing. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it brought up a lot of different feelings in myself as well.
Did you feel kind of self-conscious as we sat there in the dark theater waiting for the rest of the moviegoers to arrive and
No.
stuff like that?
No.
Because I did. Okay, growing up in Hawaii, you don't really have a differentiation between supermarkets. Every market you go to is going to have your...
I'm like, what are you talking about?
A robust ethnic food section.
Yes.
With, nori and ramen and Spam and all of that stuff, the Hawaii foods. But in the mainland, once you move to the mainland, then you realize, there are specific Asian grocery stores.
Right.
And
or an Asian aisle, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah.
An Asian aisle or shelf.
Ethnic.
Oh, ethnic.
Ethnic, right?
Yes,
and everybody that's not
everyone's
white
on that
is in
shelf.
there. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But I'm talking about the whole grocery store. And when you walk in, it's all these products that are, the labels on the products are all in like kanji and stuff like that, and you can't read it. But when you walk in, or when I walked in, I'm like, I felt really Asian. I'm like, whoa, I'm walking in and I'm feeling really Asian.
Where were you walking in?
I'm walking into an Asian grocery store.
Oh, out here you mean?
Out in the mainland.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very conscious of my
Asianness.
Yes. How my face looks,
Yes.
And I've had that same kind of self-conscious awareness when we were sitting in the theater, and I'm watching other people come in and find their seats, and more than I would have in the showing of another movie, I definitely found myself being like making note of like, oh, they're Asian, they're coming to support the movie. Or, oh, they're white. Oh, I'm so glad they're coming to support the movie. That's great. You know what I mean? That kind of internal, like involuntarily, I just found myself making those kinds of judgments and connections, and that it mattered.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm going to Mission Impossible, it doesn't even matter. Right? We're just going to see a movie.
And I think too, like when you're born and raised in Hawaii, you don't realize you're Asian. Like, you know what I mean?
Asian is white in Hawaii.
You are just
kind of, right?
Exactly, because almost everyone is Asian.
Well, yeah.
Right? The standouts
When
are
we were
people who
growing
are
up.
Caucasian. Maybe it's changed,
Yeah.
I mean, it probably has changed, but so you don't really realize that, hey,
You're a minority.
am different. Right.
Yeah.
You
Because
don't
in
realize
Hawaii, to be Asian or brown, you're a majority there.
Yes.
That's the sensation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of...
So I thought that was interesting. Were you going to say something?
No.
Because I have more.
Yep, go for it.
Okay. The other thing I realized is that it kind of, not that it doesn't matter, but when you come down to it, a Hollywood movie is a Hollywood movie.
Very true.
It's all just make-believe.
Yes.
And you're not going to get an actual representation of real life from a Hollywood movie.
Right.
You're going to get larger than life. People are going to be more rich. They're going to be more good-looking. They're going to be larger than life, right? It's like, okay, yeah, and those are Asian faces and Asian culture up there. Mm-hmm. But the problems that they're dealing with they're not everyday problems.
Right.
It's a problem of your boyfriend who loves you so much is so rich. Right? You know what I mean?
That was a problem. Well, okay. And so for that reason, right, that's why I really loved the smaller storyline in this movie. So Toast mentioned how, okay, this story's about this Chinese American woman who lives in New York, who goes to Singapore with her boyfriend and feels the disapproval from his family and the culture there. But throughout this story, you are also introduced to another character named Astrid, who, yes, like Toast is saying, larger than life. She owns like 14 buildings or something. You find out she's just totally rich. But what I loved about her storyline is it was just so symbolic, I think, of how we do tend to dim our light. And she was doing that in the movie. She was dimming her light. And for all of you who have seen it, or when you do go and see it, you will know this character who I'm talking about, how she was dimming her light to make her husband feel better so he could shine. She felt if I dim my light, he's going to be able to shine. And she wasn't able to be herself. But here's the spoiler alert. Towards the end, she comes into her own and she decides me dimming doesn't help anyone. Mm-hmm. And she decides to actually just be how she wants to be and not compromise. And I loved that storyline. And I really wish they would take that storyline and expand on that. I felt like that was more relatable, like in that spiritual way of just, how we're all trying to come into our own, know who we are, and not be afraid to shine that with the people that we love and that love us. Because I think we are afraid of not being loved for who we really are, that people can't handle it,
Or that we feel some kind of self-conscious or something, we feel bad about it in some way,
or
whether
just
it's making other people feel bad, or we think who am I to,
we just don't want people to feel bad.
Yeah.
She didn't want her husband to feel bad, and she didn't want to outshine him. So I loved that storyline. I really, really did in the movie.
What I thought was interesting with that particular relationship in the movie was I felt that was a really good illustration of the whole feminine masculine thing, because the husband was feeling like a loser for the typical masculine reason.
Yeah,
right.
He wasn't making enough money. He didn't have a good job,
Yeah,
and so he went out and had an affair to make himself feel better. Sorry, spoiler.
Wrong. Don't do that.
Yeah, wrong.
But yeah, that's a very masculine thing, right? It's like I want to accomplish, and that's what's going to make me feel like a winner, is if I can accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But on a side note, let me just say.
Okay.
So I really like that story about Astrid, and the actress that plays Astrid, her name is Gemma Chan, and I looked her up to see, gosh, what else is she in? It turns out she's a British actress who has had a lot of success on her own before the movie. And she is in a series called Humans, which I have been watching and very much enjoying, because it also has another character that I love, whose name is Gunnar in the series Nashville that just ended. So it's like, when favorite shows of yours ends, it's like it's so great to see your character, or actually the actor in another show that you can then move your affections to. So if you have seen Crazy Rich Asians and you had a liking to Astrid, check out Humans.
Because that's a
fantastic
cool storyline
show.
Kind of show.
Yes, it's kind of Black Mirror-ish, but going a little deeper.
Well, okay, so Black Mirror is a series on Netflix, right?
Is it Netflix or is it Hulu?
No, I think it's Netflix.
Netflix,
yeah,
okay.
Netflix, and it's kind of like a modern day Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
just like how Twilight
so good,
Zone,
you guys.
each episode was its own short story that dealt with some kind of troubling or issue, or posed a weird ethical dilemma and question. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what Black Mirror does, and the issues it deals with all have to do with technology, basically, right?
Yes,
like the implications for our humanity and what morality is and stuff like that.
And if you are afraid of your binge tendencies, you need not be afraid of that if you choose to try Black Mirror, because each episode is a standalone. You don't have to go to the next one, although you will want to, but you can just watch one and feel a satisfaction. So just letting you know.
What was the one that we really liked because it was a lesbian storyline, and it was a really
it got an award actually.
It won an Emmy, right?
Yes. Okay, you keep talking. San Junipero. Yes, that's what it was called. Yeah. I was gonna look it up. Oh, that was so good. Okay,
I bet people listening some people will know exactly what.
Yes, that was so good.
Is. Yeah.
Okay, but back to Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have more that you want to talk about with the film?
Well, yes, I did.
Okay.
Because when you brought up the storyline with Astrid and her husband and not dimming and, coming into your own and standing by who you are and your values, Actually, I thought that's exactly what the
main character did.
Yeah, the main character did, and the conflict that she was going through. And I thought that's what was so endearing, about that character is because that's what she did. She had that struggle back and forth, and she made the noble choice.
Yeah. You're totally right. I think I am swayed, though, by the fact that the Astrid storyline was a sub-storyline. So they were more subtle with it. It was just kind of this side thing, and yet they had to do a little more. You had to infer more with that story.
Right.
But I know that as they were going back and forth with all the the main story and then Astrid's story, I felt myself a little more invested in Astrid's story. And I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? And what's going to happen? Because it felt there were more questions about that storyline. It's like, wait, what's going on with her husband? What's happening? What is going to happen? Where the main storyline, you kind of know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I felt
it's
more
following
like
the typical Hollywood recipe, right?
Exactly.
Of like, okay, happy ending at the end.
Right.
Thing.
So I was more. So it was like comic relief that main storyline with people with actors whose names are like Aquafina, which is hilarious. She provides so much comic relief in this movie. But then it would go to Astrid's, which felt very serious and like more dramatic in that way. And I was like, ooh, what's going to happen? Because you really didn't know.
More subtlety in that.
Yes,
that story,
and I
for sure
appreciated that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you're right. It is the main storyline is about that as well.
Yeah. Okay, so this is reminding me of two other things about Crazy Rich Asians. I was so impressed with Michelle Yeoh. Is that how you say her name?
Yes,
the actress, the actor,
mother. She plays the mother.
The mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, wow, hey, she's good.
She's great.
And I was like, wasn't she in Joy Luck Club?
No.
And Sienna's like, nope. She was in
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yeah, and I am going to look it up because I want to make sure.
No, she was. Did
you look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah, she wasn't in Joy Luck.
And now, you know what I put on my Netflix watch list? Netflix produced another feature film on its own, apparently, that's kind of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon-ish.
Oh.
So I'm all like, oh, I want to watch that, being reminded of
they did?
these films. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So that's cool. And the other thing that stood out to me was how the culture in Singapore was portrayed in this Crazy Rich Asians movie is how people will refer to the elders, to their elders as uncle or auntie, even though it's not their actual uncle or auntie, right?
Yeah.
Just a stranger on the street kind of thing. If they're older, they would say, oh, sorry, uncle, or something. And that's how you and I grew up in Hawaii.
That's Hawaii way.
And I was never sure if is that a Hawaiian thing? Is that a Japanese thing? I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure.
I think it's probably both, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's probably both.
But
I don't know who started it. Maybe that's what you're saying. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who started it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's part of that. I guess Singapore is kind of like an island culture, so maybe it's the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I was, out here, being out in the mainland and having friends have children. I've always been a little taken aback when their children don't call me auntie, but they call me, like little kids calling me by my first name. Has always felt kind of weird because we're so immersed in you are auntie to a small child.
Yeah.
Any small child around you, right? You're auntie.
Right.
So it's always felt weird when they're like, hi, Sienna. And they're just like this little thing. It's always felt kind of uncomfortable.
It's like, yeah. At first it did to me, but now less so. But
well,
you know
because
why?
you're not auntie.
Exactly.
Right? Because auntie's so
it's because
feminine,
I'm more dykey. That's
but you're
why.
not uncle.
Right.
Uncle Toast.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Yes.
I think it's like, you're in a more challenging spot.
We have to come up with like a gender neutral term of endearment or relation.
That would be good.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Uncle. Unky. Unky Toast.
No, I don't know. What did you say? Antle?
Not Antle, yeah.
Antle.
That's weird.
Antle.
Maybe Unky.
I don't like Unky.
Why not? Why not? Unky. Unky. That sounds...
No,
that's
I don't like Unky.
Okay, another interesting thing
What?
that has to do with like growing up in Hawaii and stuff
Yeah.
is having a purely oral language, like Pidgin English. Mm-hmm. For example, when I use the term harashi,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, in Hawaii, growing up, small kid time, you just used to going outside harashi. And translated, that means, oh, when you're growing up and you're a young child in your childhood, you're used to going outdoors with bare feet.
Yes.
And I remember you asked me, you were like, how do you spell harashi?
Yeah.
And because Pidgin is just an oral language, there is no official written form of it. I didn't know. I don't know how you spell it. Is it Hada or is it Hara? Do you rolling? I don't know. So I don't know. This movie kind of brought that kind of cultural issue, I guess, up for me. Of like, I'm really grateful to have grown up in Hawaii, where there is this very deep and rich and persistent culture that is not encapsulated and codified.
Right.
Right. It's very human. It's just something you feel.
Because I think too, like it's bringing in, like that's a Japanese word.
Yes.
Brought in to Pidgin English.
Right. Well, Pidgin English
I
consists
didn't even know
of Japanese words,
Filipino,
Hawaiian words,
all kinds of things.
Right.
So, yeah, that's very interesting.
Or even like, and what's neat to me is how the Hawaiian language and the Japanese language, at least maybe even Filipino, I don't know, I'm not real familiar with Filipino, but Hawaiian and Japanese can have words that sound very similar. In other words, they have a lot of, there's no like consonants next to each other generally, right? There's no harsh R's. Like that phrase we grew up with, make dai dead.
Explain to them
Which means a way of saying, yeah, it's just a way of saying you're really, really dead. You are a goner. You're make dai dead.
Use it in a sentence.
Hora cockroach aparea. I went welcome and the bugger just make dai dead. Which translated means, oh, there was a roach there. And I smashed it and it's dead now.
Right.
But make, is that a Hawaiian word or is that a Japanese word? I don't know.
It's Hawaiian, right?
Is it? I don't know. I would have to Google it. But it's just my
Anywho,
point.
I
Of
know
like,
your
I
point.
think it's kind of
Yes.
cool. That's
Yes.
all I'm saying. I think it's
All
kind of
right.
cool.
Okay. All right. So, anything else you want to add about the movie?
No, because we really strayed from the movie there. Right? We're just going and doing whatever.
So really, let's just kind of pull it all together a bit
Pull
for
myself back here.
everyone. So really, what is this all about? It really is, we just want to belong.
Everybody.
Like in the movie, she just really wanted to belong,
That's right.
right?
Yes.
She just wanted to feel like she was accepted and wanted to belong there. And how do you do that without compromising your own values and who you are? And I think that's what we are all trying to do.
In life.
In life, yes. In life.
And that's the other. I'm sorry, I have to say another thing about the movie.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Because it's, again, the perfect illustration of how humans can get so tribal so easily and break it down, begin to divide the world into us and them. Mm-hmm. Because here we have a movie that's all set in, finally we have a movie with Asian representation. And look, this group is getting represented. And what do they show? How in the Asian community, the Asians will separate themselves into us and them and start this conflict among themselves,
Right.
Instead
Which
of,
is, but
it's so
that
real.
happens.
Oh, that's the human
Totally happens.
tendency. That's just what we do.
Yes.
When we're left to the non-better angels of our nature.
Yes. But that is why, even though belonging is really important and that's something we all need as human beings to connect with other people, really, 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 all of us could stand to focus on cultivating a belonging to yourself. Like, I belong to myself.
And to God.
Spirit.
The universe.
Yeah.
The life force.
You know,
yes,
as you simultaneously search for your people, look for your, you know, where you feel that sense of community and support, that is the belonging, right? As you simultaneously do that, to work on yourself and cultivate that belonging to your own self and knowing yourself so well and taking the time to really feel, hear your own inner voice, all of that, versus all the voices that can sometimes get set in from how we're raised. You know, that's my mom's voice, that's my dad's voice, that's whoever's voice, whatever. And we can sometimes spend so much time building a life according to those voices. And then we wake up and then we go, oh my God, I don't even want this.
Who am I?
This wasn't my voice.
Yeah.
You know, this wasn't my voice. So eventually you're going to come around to realizing like, hey, you know what? I want to belong to myself. And so belonging is on so many different levels. But
Yeah. And I love how really it comes back to love and learning and submitting to seeing through the eyes of love. Isn't that a song?
Ice Castles?
Ice Castles. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
But
Anyway.
but right, it's really like realizing, hey, everybody, that even the people that we are at odds with or that we can point fingers to and be like, oh, they did me wrong or whatever, all of us are just trying to feel and get the love that we need. And we have broken ways of doing it sometimes, right? We are under the illusion that in order for us to get it, somebody else has to not get it.
Yeah.
But really seeing like, okay, if we can just see through love's eyes,
Yeah.
then we can love ourselves while we love others.
Well, they say, right. And they say that every action
Is a cry for love.
it's a cry for love, is an act of love or a cry for love. So sometimes that helps when someone does you wrong and you're like, oh, why'd they do that? Or,
They're crying for
oh
love.
my God, you know, it's like that is it's an unskilled expression of asking for love. So sometimes I know that's helped me to have that.
For sure. Me too.
You know, that perspective on hand. Like, okay, maybe, you know, of course, after I process my own reaction to things and go, okay, let's see, what was this person doing, and try to get into their shoes and go, okay, you know what? And it helps to bring compassion back to the table and to try and, you know, mine for those moments of love in a situation that might not look like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's our episode.
That was our little discussion on Crazy Rich Asians, I guess.
Tell us what you think of the movie when you all go and see it, or if you saw it, comment.
Yeah, it would be interesting to hear you
Yeah, I
guys'
wanna
comments
know.
and your
Yes.
thoughts on it.
Oh, hey, by the way, are we going to, I don't know if we want to talk about it here, but are we going to be more present on Facebook?
Short answer, yes.
Okay.
Long answer, I don't know how long it's going to take for us to actually get that up to speed as much as we'd like, because we do have a limited number of hours in the day. But we have done some snooping.
Yep.
And we realize
A lot of you are on Facebook.
Yeah. So we don't want to deprive ourselves of your online, companionship and communication. So that's why we're
there.
like,
We want to be there.
Yeah, we'll do Facebook.
Maybe. Yeah. So anyways.
Okay, guys, thanks so much for listening. And do please check out the show notes. Mm-hmm. We have links to join our email list and links to be notified about our ongoing and evolving approach to membership and deeper ways to support you in your life and becoming your true self and shining your light in the world. Yeah. All the links for that are in the show notes. And see you until next time.
This is Sienna.
And this is Toast, telling you to love life and live free.